going on, people? Welcome to another week of Half Circle Back. I'm here with my co-host, 4H Tim. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Chilling. How what you been up to this past week, man?
Well, I'm still on a Texas tour. Went to the Dallas local.
Okay.
Did okay.
Define okay.
Huh?
Define okay.
Well, they had like a round robin.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like in like different like pools, I guess, or round robins. Then like only one person made it the pool. So I had Nigel in my pool.
Right.
That's like the only person I lost my pool was to Nigel, but it wasn't enough to make it out. So I did okay. What else I did? Drove 5 hours to Houston after that.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yo, I had some bomb-ass barbecue, though. Holy shit. That was really good.
Well, forget the barbecue. I'm going to ask the hard-hitting questions here. How many cowboy hats have you seen in Texas so far?
You know what's crazy? I haven't yet to see any cowboy hats.
That's a damn shame. You know what? That was the one thing. So when I went down to Texas for Texas Showdown, I was so upset that when I got off the plane, I didn't see any cowboy hats. And I felt like I was being set up and lied to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I came off this expecting to see at least a handful of, what's the 10-gallon joints, the big ass hats? I was expecting to see that.
Yeah, the 10-gallon.
And I didn't see any, It really, it really threw me for a loop. I'm not going to lie. I'm still upset about that.
I've seen more Confederate flags than a cowboy hat. So I should probably tell you something.
Fair enough.
But yeah, this weekend, going to one of the Houston locals. So I was told the wrong intel about their weeklies and stuff like that. So they have a local this upcoming Saturday. So I'm gonna go check it out, play some Street Fighter, some Grand Blue, and yeah, Grand Blue.
Who?
Grand Blue Fantasy versus the new Arxis game that just came out.
Huh?
By Side Games.
I don't know her.
Okay. Let's see see you on your stuff right now.
Okay.
Let's see. But yeah. So hopefully I'm trying to take a W on that, do my thing.
Sir.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Let's see. What have I been up to? So we had our local this past weekend. I ended up going up there at the Macon County Esports Day, thrown by NCA. So it's a normal Alabama tournament, I guess, or Auburn tournament, whatever you want to call it. Had a decent turnout for Street Fighter. I think like 14 people. It's either 14 or 16, I forget. A little bit of a turnout for Grand Blue. That was kind of a late addition to it, so not a whole lot of people for that. I think they got about 14 people for Dragon Ball, but I mean it was chill. I think this venue that they're going to now is it's a little nicer as far as at least you're not sharing the bowling alley with everybody else. So you got a dedicated space so you can do a little bit more with what you got, and they've got a stage. So if they decide that they want to start scaling up production or whatever, they got an option with that. So I don't think they've made that a permanent space that they're going to be at, but it's not bad, and it's a shorter drive for me, so I'm cool with it if they decide to make that the new home for that stuff. So yeah, I think that's really been it, man. Just playing some Yakuza on the side. I need to really start streaming it. I just kind of been playing it off stream, but playing Yakuza 0. I'm trying to go through the entire series. So
okay, so you're putting the prequel first.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I was told to play it was either you start with 0 or you start with Yakuza Kiwami and go that way. And then somebody was saying you go 0, then you basically go down the line at that point. But then somebody
so
also said
chronological order. Gotcha.
Huh?
So you're just going in chronological order.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess as far as the number of the game, yeah, but not like release date. Not doing it that way, I guess. But anyways,
It's a bold move, my friend.
yeah. But that's all I got going on. Same old stuff, grinding. Street Fighter as always. You know how that goes.
Hey man, I see you, dog. You know what I'm saying? See, you've been playing a lot more. I guess as of late, you've been playing Yakuza. I guess. I mean, I've been playing a lot more, but
We'll see. We'll see how that turns out when you get back home.
Let's see how you just shut the fuck up. My bad. My bad. I got a
great start, huh?
I thought you was trying to, be an asshole or something.
Okay, being real reckless right now.
But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. I guess
This week we went ahead and brought on a guest, so I'm gonna kick it to Nolan over here to introduce himself. If you want to go ahead, man.
Okay. Nolan Overton, also known as MFC Shtucky. I run the Mobile Bay Area Fight Club, which is the fighting game group down here in Mobile, as I like to call it, the butthole of the state.
That's pretty good name.
Yeah. We do. We pretty much do fighting game events stuff. We just had our bi-monthly starting this past weekend, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Cool. Now I met you back in 2014, I think.
I think it was about 2014, yeah, because it wasn't too long after I'd opened up that comic store.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh man, so that store's not there anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I moved down there for a job, and that was like one of the things I was worried about. Was like, man, I wonder if there's anybody who even plays games down here. I guess because that was where I was at in my life, where I'm just like, I kind of need people to play fighting games again. And yeah, it was cool that you guys were, there was a scene down there. Wasn't big, but there was people who wanted to play. So
yeah, and then you showed up. And I think we sat down and played Street Fighter 4 for a while, and then a little Street Fighter Cross Tekken, if I'm not mistaken. And then, that's when we all realized that we were not good.
He said it like that. Is that the effect I have on people sometimes?
I mean, like you don't know?
Look, man, this dude, Magnegro, he gets off on that. All right?
No.
He definitely gets off on that. Like, I'm just his personal punching bag, I just come over and I get beat, like game straight. Then I go to the nap.
I mean, I give you this is the thing though. I give you the tips, right? I tell you, hey man, look, you could be doing this instead, or if you do this instead.
I go and do it. I go and do it. I still get rolled up.
Well, I mean, look, that's fighting games, man. I mean, I could tell you to do X, but like obviously, there's a counter to it.
Obviously,
that's how it works, man. Anyway, so I guess we can get into it. So what was your background in the FGC, or what originally got you in the FGC?
Oh, I mean, you want to go all the way back?
Yeah, we can go we got time.
Okay. Well, I guess it started about 1993, around 92, 93, whenever Street Fighter 2 came out in the arcades.
It was probably around that time. I can't remember if it was 92. I feel like it was 92, but either way, yeah.
I think it was 92. So whenever it came out in the arcades, me and my brother really didn't care about it. We'd walk in, there'd just be huge crowds around the machine, and we'd walk right past it to go play Operation Wolf.
Wow.
I remember too. We just watch folks playing this game, and we couldn't figure out whatever the big deal was. So, we tried it a couple of times, but all the Asian kids were cheating. Everybody else was just hitting the punch and kick buttons, and they were throwing fireballs. It was like something.
Oh
man.
Right.
So Whenever Street Fighter 2 came out on the SNES, that's when we really got into it. For some reason, our mom got it for us for Christmas. I presume she walked into a game store and asked what the big game on the SNES was, and the guy said Street Fighter. Because I distinctly remember opening it and looking at her and going, "Why did you get this?" Because we had absolutely no interest in it. It probably sat there a few weeks after Christmas until we were like, "Well, I guess we got it. We might as well play it." And we started playing it, and slowly but surely started getting into it, and then going back to the arcade and kind of playing, and you get your butt kicked and you work at it some more, and then next thing you know, we knew we were starting to get good at the game because we started beating the Asian kids. That was like something that nobody else did except another Asian kid.
Yeah.
And it just pretty much went from there. Once we got into it, we were just hooked. It's like we couldn't stop playing fighting games. We started finding every other fighting game that came out, which got us in. Let's see what else was in the arcades down here.
You know what's funny? Going back to that thing about you said they got you Street Fighter as a gift, and you're like, well, we don't even want this, but then you ended up playing it.
Yep.
That reminds me of like all the games that my parents would get us, and we'd just be like, oh man, why would they buy us this? Like, I remember they bought us the Turtles Tournament Fighter game. And we were looking at this like, oh my God, this is going to be trash. And then me and my brother played it so much, like ridiculously, like way more than that game ever deserved to be played. But
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we started playing. Like I said, we just got our hands on every fighting game we could possibly find. Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, Samurai Showdown, Power Instinct. I don't know if anybody ever played that one. But
that sounds familiar.
Oh, I used to love that game. There was this blue guy that had like a fire tongue move or something like that. It was really weird.
Yeah, that game's like super wild. Characters wise, characters like.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I remember the character sprites were really big in that game too.
Was that Super Nintendo game or?
It was in the arcade. I think
it
was a Neo. I know the sequel was a Neo Geo game, the Rumblefish, I think it was called.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that one.
Was actually a sequel to it. But yeah, like I say, we just played as many fighting games as we could. And I remember when Samurai Showdown 2 came out, I fell in love with that game.
I didn't get into that until I think it was the first one that I got into. And the only reason I even played it was because it was at the movie theater that we had, and it was just kind of something I was doing just to pass time. But yeah, that was like, I was pretty big into that.
Yeah, we played Sam Show 1, but the second game was like they took out all the items and stuff, and it was more of a straightforward fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And I still just think about that game now. It's just like, man, it's like in my head, the two games that really got me into it were Street Fighter 2 and Sam Show 2. Pretty much at that point, we started playing in tournaments. See, first tournament we played in, I want to say was 90. It must have been 90. It must have been 93. There was a game store around here that ran a Street Fighter 2 event. Let's see, my brother won it, and I came in fourth. We expected to just totally get destroyed, and he ended up winning the whole thing. We missed the second one because we were on a field trip. Came back to the third one. He won it again. I think I came in third, and there was I think we did one more tournament there, and he won it, and I came in third again. So.
I can't even think about like tournaments back then, right? Like, I guess because I didn't get into the scene, like the tournament scene, until like 2010.
Oh wow!
I just didn't know that competitive fighting games existed. You know what I mean? Like, I played stuff. We all go to the arcade, or you play at home or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I didn't interface with like the subset of like FGC stuff. Like, I didn't get on SRK until like 2005. So like, I didn't really know anything about, and even when I was on SRK, I wasn't even going into like, like community stuff. I was just going to like Tech Talk to look at arcade stick stuff because I was really big into that. And I would go into game forums just to go look for combos. Like, that's all I was doing. That's the only thing I knew about.
Yeah. So you came up in a time when the internet actually existed. We had to depend on the guy that had the Game Pro that had the moves in it. Which was
such a crazy thing to think about. That's how fighting games used to be, right? Like, even
man,
just the way that knowledge was like, nobody knew how to do special moves, like you were saying. Nobody knew how to do special moves in Street Fighter 2 until like somebody probably had to sit there and tell you that, or like I don't know how you fall upon that, right? Like how do you figure out to throw a fireball, right? Something that's like super intuitive now, I guess, because you've done it for years, but like without like that prior knowledge of that being a thing, it's like
actually back then one of the arcades, the Street Fighter 2 cabinet was one of the ones that had the moves.
Oh, really?
On the machine.
Yeah.
And so, that was kind of one way. And like I said, the Game Pro magazine would have the little inserts for certain games, and one of them they had was for Street Fighter 2. So that was a godsend.
Yeah.
And and just keep learning how you roll the thumb on the pad to, how do you do, Dragon Balls. Fireballs are easy, but how do you do this dragon punch thing? It's like you gotta kind of do it like a Z, and then go into the arcade and trying to learn how to do it on a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it's like a lot of folks don't understand what it was like back in the day. It's like you had to learn from basically other folks in the arcade who would tell you how to play the game if they knew, and then you just watched and played as many folks as you could to try to learn as much as you could and pass it around. And then if you wanted again, there was no YouTube or nothing like that, and so you want to learn something. We kind of became the top down here, so it was like it wasn't really much to learn from anybody else down here. So once we got old enough to drive, we started to go out of town.
And you guys have been in Mobile this entire time, or were you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, born and raised down here. And we drive to Biloxi and Pensacola and try to and hope that we run into somebody who was pretty good at the game. And if we did, we just sit there and play, with them the entire time we were there, and then come back and be like, oh yeah, man, we went over here and we learned this, and then teach everybody else what we learned wherever we went.
That's kind of cool you guys did that. I felt like one of the old things that people would do back then is just kind of hoard stuff. They didn't want to tell anybody else because you're like, oh, I don't want anybody else beating me, so I don't want to go to, I don't want to.
Yeah, we were never really like that. We always wanted everybody else to be better as well.
Yeah.
We figured because me and him, a lot of folks who say it was unfair because me and him would come home after school and play each other for 6 hours straight. So we had somebody to try stuff out on, and everything kind of built in, and some folks didn't really have anything until they came to the arcade. And like I tell folks all the time now, it's like, y'all got this thing called training mode, and it's like for us, training mode cost a quarter, and you had to train against the best guy in the arcade because that's who was still on the machine.
Yeah.
So you had to get better, or your time on the machine wasn't going to be very long at all. But after a while, we just wanted to bring everybody else around us up so that we could all play together and try to learn and get better at everything. And then of course over time, more and more games started coming out. The Darkstalkers games, Darkstalkers 2 was like a big game for me, and then X-Men. When X-Men came out, that kind of changed everything.
Children of the Atom, right?
Children of the Atom, yeah.
Woo!
Because of course, everybody back then was big into the cartoon show. So to have a game that moved the way it did, it was so fast and flashing lights, and the voice actors from the cartoons, oh crap! It was amazing.
So I never got to play that one. I remember seeing it in like Game Pros, and so I saw it in Game Pros. There was never like a arcade cabinet in my arcade for it, and like the only thing I had at the time was like PlayStation, and even then, like I never played the PlayStation port, but PlayStation fighting games were never great, right? They had really long loading times, like they didn't look as good as the arcade or like the Saturn version or whatever. So that's just one of the games I never got to play, but it looks sick though.
Yeah,
oh man, it's a great game.
Yeah, we played the hell out of that game, and then the Marvel superheroes came out. And that completely changed my life. That's probably my favorite fighting game of all time, still, to this day. You know, because back in the day, I was like, I used to play Ken and Sagat in Street Fighter, and I was Felicia in Darkstalkers, and then, all this crap. But when I found out that there was a character that had something called armor,
let me get you play Juggernaut.
I could just walk through moves and hit you. Wait. So you got to hit me like 20 times, but I don't got to hit you twice. Yeah, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And and from there, I was kind of always known now as the big body player, and that was probably the game that kind of changed me into it. Other reasons as time went on, but yeah, Juggernaut is my spirit animal.
That makes sense. I felt like there was like you had Juggernaut as like one of your avatars or something at some point.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Usually, okay. Yeah, usually if you see Shtucky somewhere, if that's the avatar, then it's me. Most definitely. Yeah. And then from there the attack games, X-Men versus Street Fighter. I remember we used to joke around, man, wouldn't it be cool if they put the Street Fighter characters in the X-Men games? And yeah, it would be kind of, but man, Ryu would have to have like a beam instead of like a regular ball, if he was doing his thing. And lo and behold, we walk into the QZR down here, and they had the game. We didn't know it existed until we walked into the arcade. There it was, and the first thing we see, Ryu throwing the beam, and we were just like, minds blown.
I figured.
It's like, I can't believe this. They actually did it.
I think the first time I ever saw that game in arcades, I was just like flabbergasted. Like, I thought I was in a dream. I was like, "There's no way this could have been real."
Yeah. So that was, I think, our junior year in high school when that came out, and then Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. We didn't play until we got to college. It was in the arcade at the college that I didn't know our college even had an arcade. One day we walked in there, and there it was. So we started playing it, and then Marvel versus Capcom 1. And I want to say Capcom versus SNK were out in our arcade down here around the same time. And MVC 1 I wasn't a big fan of because they took all my characters out of it. But that's all right.
Felicia, was he an assistant in that game?
Juggernaut was an assistant in that game, yeah.
Yeah, Juggernaut was, yeah.
And Colossus too. So it's like, whatever. It's cool. But my brother was really good at that game. He was like the best down here at it. And when we used to drive around and play folks in that game, we do this thing where we go into an arcade and we kind of watch to see who the best guy in the arcade was. And I would play him first. And the whole thing was, if you couldn't beat me at the game, then there was no point in him playing.
Oh, that's cool though. I like that. That's how y'all did it though.
Yeah. And we used to go out. We went to as many arcades out of town as we could possibly find that had that game, and would play it. I would watch him play because, like I said, it wasn't a big game for me, but he was really, really good at it. And then of course MVC 2 came out, and my God, by then we had friends that worked in the arcade down here, so we more or less played the game for free, but it didn't really matter because even if we went in there with $1, that would last us 6 to 8 hours. Because we'd just be sitting on the machine just playing, folks. I think my brother would have had a 100 win streak, but he had to leave, and this one guy apparently kept getting close to beating him, but he had to go, and he felt like he was so close. He said he was like on a 86 streak at the time, but he had to go, and the guy was like grabbing him, trying to keep him there.
Holy
no, I want to keep playing. It's like, I gotta go, dude. I'm sorry. But MVC 2 was just is MVC 2. And then it kind of was the end of the arcade scene down here was in 2000 when MVC 2 came out on Dreamcast.
Was it just that like people stopped showing up to arcades, or were arcades starting to go out of business?
I mean, yeah, it was like you could spend $15, $20 at the arcade and keep playing the game, or spend $50 once and play it at home. And the Dreamcast was the first console where it was like, the home version of the game was just as good as the arcade.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, once that and Street Fighter Alpha 3 came out on the Dreamcast, pretty much folks found less reasons to go to the arcade. And that's kind of when we started. Soon after that, we kind of started getting out of fighting games because we were in college, and we decided we actually want to finish college. So it was either keep playing games or finish school. So we both
tough choice, obviously.
Yeah, but we both kind of fell out of gaming as a whole, actually, until we finished. And then let's see, when did Street Fighter 4 come out? 2008, right?
2000. Well, the arcade version was 2008. Then the actual console release was 2009.
It was 2009. Okay.
Yeah.
So in 2008, when HD Remix came out, I remember sitting in my apartment and I saw like some kind of review for it or something like that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Street Fighter 2 game. We used to play it all the time when we were kids." And it was like on sale or something on Xbox Live, so I bought it for like $5. And I remember it was December 29th or 30th. It was near the new year before Street Fighter 4 came out. But I bought that game and proceeded to stay up dang near 12 hours and played it straight online.
Wow.
And so I was like, I completely forgot how much I used to love fighting games, particularly Street Fighter 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I gotta see what else is out there, and I found out that a Street Fighter 4 was coming at that point. I didn't even know. Like I said, we were completely out of gaming, almost completely, definitely out of fighting games. We might pick up the spare shooter game or whatever.
Right.
But then I found out a Street Fighter 4 was coming, and I had money now, so I was going to buy me some fight pads because the sticks wasn't going to be out till the next year, and then Street Fighter 4 came out, and that kind of ignited the fire back in both of us, and we found out about this thing called streaming, and folks actually played fighting games on Justin.tv.
Oh, so were you guys actually streaming back then, or were you just kind of aware?
We had only just found out that folks would stream. First major I ever saw online, it was that one that used to be in Australia.
Shadowloo Showdown?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was the first one I ever saw. And I was like, I didn't know folks did stuff like this. This is amazing. And yeah, we just jumped right back into the whole fighting game thing, and we went to final round, I think in 2012. Yeah, 2012. We found out that was kind of the nearest one to us, so we went to that, and yeah. But by that point, we were completely back into it. I had won all the Street Fighter 4 launch events in the area. I remember still all the kids, they kind of looked at me kind of like, what's this big old man gonna do? And then I just proceed to just destroy everybody. This was the first week that the game was out, and everybody else was still, this was kind of how a lot of younger folks were introduced to fighting games. And
yeah, exactly.
To me, I had been playing it for 15, 20 years at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I'm doing just Street Fighter 2 stuff and just wiping the floor with everybody. And they're looking at me like we used to look at the Asian kids back in the arcade. It's like, what did you, how did you do that? So kind of went around there. But yeah, once we went to final round, we kind of looked at each other driving back. And that's when we came up with, because we used to do events. We both used to work at like EB Games and GameStop and stuff like that. So we used to do stuff like that there. I used to hold events for like Soul Calibur and NBC 1 and 2 and all kinds of stuff, either at the store or at the school down here. And we just were like, man, it was nice to be around folks who played again. Like the old arcade days.
Yeah.
And we kind of thought to ourselves, well, it doesn't take much to do pretty much what we just came from. We can bring our stuff and some TVs and see if we can get anybody to come. And that trip back from final round in 2012 was when we came up with the whole Fight Club thing.
Cool. I thought, I didn't know how long it had been going on. I guess because I'd only been aware of it in 2014, but
Right.
you guys have been doing it for a little bit.
Yeah. By that point, we've been doing it for a couple of years. Yeah.
And were you guys always set up at the comic shop when you started?
No,
or
we first started at the Tillman's Corner Convention Center, not Convention Center, Community Center. It was like this little room, and we first time we ever did it, some friends of ours let us borrow their Xbox 360s. We brought ours. I think we had like 4 all together, and we were in this little room, and we put up like a little Facebook event. And we were convinced that we had rented the room out for I think 6 hours, and we were convinced that we would probably spend the 6 hours in there just playing each other, which at the time wasn't a bad thing because we were working, and he had kids, and we didn't really get a chance to play a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So we sat in there and started playing each other, and were just like completely shocked when somebody walked in the door. It's like we didn't know what to do. It's like, oh, we didn't.
People actually showed up.
Actually come, and then somebody else came, and somebody else came, and somebody else came. Before you knew it, there was probably about 15 to 20 in the room, and
it's pretty good turnout.
Yeah, and it's like we did it. We made an arcade again. It was awesome, and we all just kind of sat there and played games and talked and laughed, and we were like, we have to do this again. So we did it again a few months after that. That was our first actual time we did a tournament. It was when Tekken Tag 2. Was it Tag 2 or Tag 1?
Tag 2 would have been after after the Street Fighter 4 era, I guess.
Yeah. Did that come out in 2012, 2013?
I feel like it was 2012 or 2013.
Okay.
Maybe
so it was
2011, 2012, something like that. Somewhere around there.
Yeah. It was Tag 2. It was, yeah. So that was like the first tournament we ever did was Tag 2, and I want to say Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah, that was definitely out around that time, yeah.
Because I believe that's when we got kicked out of there, and we had to finish the tournaments at my house.
What? Hold on. All right, you got to explain like how that happened then.
Okay, so we were running a little late, as fighting game events I want to do. And the lady told us, okay, so, if you think you're going to be overtime, it's cool. Just go up front and tell the guy, and you can buy an extra hour for $25.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of look down. We're at the end of both of them, but we realize, okay, well, we're not, we're obviously not going to be done in time. So we walked up front and talked to the guy. Had the cash in hand. Was like, hey, we need to buy 1 more hour. It's probably only going to take about 20 minutes to get done though. So we need to buy the hour. And dude was like, nope, y'all have to go.
Wow.
The lady earlier told us we could buy an extra hour, and we don't even need the extra hour. He didn't care. He was like, 10 o'clock rolls around, y'all got to go. So
they just denied y'all like that.
Yeah. And so we're like, crap, what are we gonna do? We're at the semifinals in 1, and I think the finals of Tekken and the semifinals of MVC. So we're like, and everybody's wanting to get their money, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out what the hell we're gonna do. We're sitting out in the hallway, and we're like, screw it. Let's just tell everybody they got to come back to my house. So we go back in the room. It's like, hey, we have to go. Thank everybody for coming. Anybody still in it? If you want to, you can come to my house, and we can try to finish this whole thing up. So most everybody there was like, sure. So we packed everything up in the cars and drove back to my house and finished it there.
Man.
Yeah.
It's like in FGC fashion, I would have just assumed somebody would have tried to like run an extension cord outside and just do it outside or whatever, do something like that. But that's pretty cool that you guys were able to finish at your house.
Yeah. So yeah, we were. It was hot. I remember that, and it was like it wasn't no way we were sitting outside, and it was raining too. I think so. Yeah, like,
never
no way
mind.
we were gonna be sitting outside doing that stuff. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first event that we ever ran, and then we started running them after that, and yada yada yada. Here we are.
Cool. That's pretty interesting, to be honest. I guess because I kind of can remember like my path into getting into like the community and just kind of all the like like the first interactions with people, the all that stuff. But yeah, I mean that's cool that you remember it so fondly.
Oh yeah, it was an experience. I mean, fighting games. The thing I always loved about fighting games the most is that see, I'm an introvert. I don't really go out, and I'm not outgoing at all.
Yeah,
I'm cool staying at home, watching Star Wars, and not having to talk to anybody. But playing games, especially fighting games, kind of forces you to meet other folks because you're playing with somebody else, and it was really the only way I knew how to talk to somebody else through fighting games. So I think that's why it's always been so like a big deal to me to always have been into this stuff, because there are lots of folks, including you, that I would have never met if it wasn't for this stuff.
Yeah. I think pretty much, I mean, I still keep up with a few of the people from school and stuff like that, but by and large, like most of anybody I talk to nowadays has something to do with fighting games, so it's like, I mean, I wouldn't be talking to, I feel like I wouldn't know that many people if it wasn't for that now.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. And, there's folks that, you may not see but once a year whenever you go to certain events, but, you see them and they're like your best friends. But you don't talk to them but once a year.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, let's move into the other questions I had. So what are you currently playing now?
Right now I'm playing tax returns.
Oh yeah. Hold on. You still you're still an accountant, right?
Yes.
Oh man. So this is like the busy time of the year, right?
So yeah, I kind of pick and choose the income taxes I want to do. I do mostly business stuff. Finish those early, and then if I have time and if I want to, I'll do income taxes and stuff. I finished my last one that I want to do this year, and so anybody else that wants me to do theirs is going to be paying a pretty penny. This is generally the time of the year where I'll start to charge a prohibitively high amount so that they'll go try to find somebody else to do it, because I really don't want to.
Yeah,
I hate taxes so much.
I don't blame you. I'm sure a lot of people hit you up and just like, hey, you mind doing that for me real quick?
Yeah. It started when I was in school. I watched my friends, supposed to be getting back like $60, but they owed
you got to break it to them like, nah, buddy,
like $80. And it's like, I was going through accounting school at the time, so I was like, just give it to me and I'll do it. I'll do it for free, which was the mistake. But I really didn't know what I was doing at the time. But I was in accounting school. I figured, well, this would be a good way to learn. And so but over time, my friends' taxes went from a simple, easy form, and then they're getting married and having kids. So now there's dependents to worry about, and they're starting their own businesses and starting to make money. And all of a sudden, there's different forms, and what would take 15 minutes to do would turn into an hour, would turn into 3 hours, and I was still doing it for free.
Oh no.
And after a few years, everyone knew I was the guy that would do your taxes for free. So folks would just start throwing their stuff at me, and I was just like, about 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, nope, no more. It's like, if you want me to do it, you're gonna have to pay me. And I had never done more taxes than when I started charging for it. Because then folks were like, oh, so if I give you money, you have to do it now.
Yeah.
I thought that would turn folks away, but that only made more folks come. So now I just don't do, I just like I said, I kind of pick and choose. I'll do my clients because I have a small business consulting business on the side, which is my main job now. But either way, I'll do my client stuff because once you're done doing the business stuff, you're already halfway done with the rest of it. And like I said, I'll pick and choose which other ones I want to do. But when it comes to that stuff, I don't even want to do my mom's stuff. She has to force me every year.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But it's your mom, though, right?
I mean,
is she paying you?
No.
I mean, I would feel kind of, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I would feel bad about charging my mom, but I would at least expect her to be like, yeah, I mean, it's your mom. Like, why would you? I mean,
Look,
I wouldn't. Okay, this is. I wouldn't expect her.
If she got money,
she does got money.
She's paying.
No, but listen. I'm just saying, I wouldn't feel right about charging her. But if she wanted to pay,
if I'm using my time, I may have came out of you, but look, you gotta pay for something. You feel me?
Look. I mean, look, I get it. I mean, I don't know if I would charge it, but I would be like, if you want to, since I'm doing this, if you want to see, I guess it would be bartering, right? I'd be like, well, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to need you to watch the kids for like a couple weekends. You know what I'm saying? See, you gotta do something like, So.
Yeah. But I mean, how do we even get on text talk anyway? Oh, that's right. Because
basically,
I was saying I hadn't really had a whole lot of time to play much of anything. I play Sam Show. I get. I love that game. To me, Sam Show is like Street Fighter 4 when it came out, kind of brought everything back. I remember actually us sitting down playing Street Fighter 4 and going, man, wouldn't it be awesome if they went back and made a Sam Show just like this?
Yeah, and they finally did. That's kind of what they did. Yeah.
And so I just absolutely love that game. It's about the only game I can win anything at anymore. So everybody calls it the old man game, and they are right.
Yeah, it's like a super fundamental based game. There's not really a whole lot of system. I mean, there's systems to it, but it's not super systems heavy, and it's more about knowing the player, knowing what they're gonna do, and then knowing the right answers to things. Yeah.
So, but yeah, besides that, not really a whole lot these days. Kind of waiting on Cyberpunk to come out.
Yeah,
and they pushed it back, which did make a single tear roll down my left cheek when I read that. But besides that, looking forward to kind of want to see what's going to happen, with all the next gen stuff, PS5 and Xbox Series X, and what kind of fighting games we're going to get out of that in the next year or two.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to be a couple of years out. Even like whenever those do come out, I don't think there's going to be. I mean, there may be like a fighting game at launch, but I feel like we're going to be a couple years out from when those consoles do come out before anything even drops. As far as fighting game stuff.
You can kind of see from all the fighting games that are out now, they've all decided to do like one more update instead of coming out with a new version, at the end of the year or sometime even next year. It's like, do we want to make a Dragon Ball FighterZ 2, or do we just do a season 3 and that'll buy us some time?
Right.
And so, we got a season 3 of that. We got a new year of Soul Calibur stuff. Street Fighter 5. I mean, Lord knows what we'll get if we even get anything else this year from that. But I presume we're not going to see a new Street Fighter probably at least 2021. But that's pretty much what I got going on gaming wise these days.
All right, and all right. So I guess you kind of answered this earlier, but so what led you into, I guess, wanting to be a TO?
Really, we just did it because nobody else was, at least down here.
Yeah.
And so basically that was it. We kind of did it because nobody else was doing it, and we wanted to get kind of the feel of arcade back, because online was great and everything, especially for when fighting games came back, and the arcades really didn't exist anymore at that point. So it was good to have a way to play folks in these games, but it wasn't the same as sitting next to somebody and playing and trying to play the game and trash talking and laughing and all that kind of stuff. So that was the main drive for us to do it.
See, I can attest for the the online isn't the same, because this is how I ended up getting into the community. So like I was just playing Street Fighter 4. You know, I mean, I was playing fighting games up until that point, but I didn't really try and get competitive in anything like really, really competitive till Street Fighter 4. And so, you know, I'm playing online, you know, I'm thinking pretty good or whatever. So we you know, I'm at home playing on my HD TV, you know, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, so I finally go to the first meetup offline, and lo and behold, they're playing on CRTs because, you know, obviously there's no lag or whatever. But I'm not thinking about I don't know anything about this. You know, I'm just playing the game, and you know, I'm like, holy shit! Like I can't do anything. Like the timing's completely different. I can't do any of my combos. These dudes, like I literally, I mean, this is like where like one of my favorite parts about like fighting games is when you go somewhere, you think you're good and you play other people, and then they just destroy you, and you just have that existential thing of like, man, I suck. And then you have to figure out why you suck and how to get better. And and that was like one of those situations where it's like I just got destroyed, and I mean, I literally was like, you know, you have this thing in your mind, you're like, I don't think I'm pretty good, and then it just gets shattered.
Yeah.
And I mean, I mean, it's probably my favorite feeling in fighting games, because it just shows you how much, you know, how much further you got to go. And like, you know, from that day, man, I went and I stopped playing on my HD TV. I went and bought an Asus monitor and all that, man. And like, you know, like started playing offline with my other friends all the time. And, but yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, I remember how we learned about lag. This little dork named Ace Combat showed up at one of our events. that guy, and he was like, oh man, I remember he was messaging us so much. And I'm like, who is this guy that keeps asking us stuff on Facebook? Who is this guy? It's like, yeah, what kind of screens you have, what kind of refresh rate is it? I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Now at the time we had just bought some of those Asus what were the model numbers? They're up.
I think it was like the VH236, whatever that was like what they called the Evo monitor.
Evo monitor, exactly.
Yeah.
So I had spent some money and bought 4 of those because I knew we were trying to get more serious about it, and I had read that, you know, that was the best thing to play it on. So I was like, okay, that's what everybody else is getting. I'm going to get that too. And we were trying to learn how to record games at the time. We wasn't quite streaming yet. But this guy's just asking us all these questions. What kind of equipment do we have? And he started asking about how much lag is on the monitors, and I have no idea what you're talking about. I can tell you what kind we have, and it's Asus blah blah blah. He was like, okay, yeah, that's cool then. And so I don't even. Oh, I do. So I was trying the monitors out. I was setting them up and everything before the event, and I remember playing on it the first time, and I couldn't get anything to come out.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, is something wrong with the with my fight stick, or what's going on? I can't do anything. And it was the timing, you know. I was used to playing on a big HD screen too. With all that lag, you know, you just get used to it. And then all of a sudden,
don't know any different, right? That's how it is. Just that's what you've been playing on, so that just seems normal.
Yep. You know? And then I started playing on that thing, and once you get used to that, it's hard to go back to the other one. So yeah, Ace shows up, and he's kind of talking about it and everything, and he was so glad we had, you know, Evo monitors, blah blah blah, and he's talking about, you know, you can't really play on a regular TV, and he was being a dork about it and all that. And you know, at the time, I still didn't care. I was like, you know, I'm still playing stuff on the TV too. But then, you know, the more I talked to him, and he was telling me stuff, and I started to do it, and then now it's to the point where I almost can't play anything on a TV anymore, because at first I couldn't really see the difference. I could feel it, but I couldn't see it. Now I can actually see it. I can look at something and go, "Oh God, yeah, that refresh rate is really bad." Yeah, I can't do anything on this screen here. It's just like I was thinking, good old Ace Combat.
Yeah, shout outs to Ace Combat. I hadn't talked to him in a while, but
he was I want to.
But it was cool that you guys took the initiative, man. I guess that's one of the things that you know, I feel like a lot of people don't really think about now, just because I think there's like less of a dependence on that, because of people have been conditioned to just want to play online all the time. So it's like even when people say, "Oh, I just don't have any locals, I don't have anything," and it's like, well, you could just do it. You could just start it, try it. You know, you never know. You don't know, and it doesn't have to be like. I guess there's also the thing where people just think they need to have some big major, not big major, but like some big
they
or something like that.
In their heads, it's got to be this big thing with like lights and smoke and all this stuff. And it's like, no, you can seriously just bring a couple of screens into a room and folks will play it, man. That's all it takes. It really is.
Takes,
I mean, that's
you and another person wanting to play. That's it.
Yeah, that's how we started, and it's worked out. No, and it also helped that we both were, older at the time. We were in our 30s, and we had pretty good paying jobs, so we could afford to get all that stuff.
Yeah.
So because after a while, we'd ask folks to bring things and they just wouldn't. So we were like, well, screw it. We'll just make sure we always have enough to do at least this much. So yeah, well, that's how we got started, and then we started meeting folks from out of town and Mississippi guys, especially some guys from Hattiesburg came down to, I want to say, the second event we ever had in the store. And we were streaming by then, and they kind of came down, and we were talking to them, and they were like, "Hey, you think you can come up and stream our stuff?" And I was like, "Sure." And I barely knew how to get my stuff off the ground. And so now I had to figure out how to take my computer and set it up somewhere else in a different state. That was like,
and hope nothing breaks in the process.
And we'll figure it out once we get there. And we did.
But it did work, so.
Yeah. And that kind of got us into the Mississippi scene. I think the first event we ever streamed was
it Red September?
No, it was Hattie's Brawl.
Oh, hold up. Was that the one that I think I went there? I want to say I can't.
I remember I think you were at Red September. That was
maybe it was
back
Brawl.
Red September was Jackson.
Yeah, I did go to that one.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. That was the second one. But I want to say the first one we did was because there used to be two in Hattiesburg. It was Hattie's Brawl and I can't remember the name of the other one now. And then Jackson had Red September. And so we kind of sort of became the streamers over there because, we had it and we were willing to drive over there. So.
And now that I think about it, there wasn't anybody else like streaming down in that area for tournaments and stuff other than you guys.
Right. Yeah. And so yeah, that was cool. I only started streaming because I thought it looked fun. Boy, was I wrong. But and by that time we had amassed, I think we had like 10 Xbox 360s at the time, 8 or 10 or 12 monitors, and then a stream setup. So I kind of sat back and realized, well, I mean, we can kind of take our stuff anywhere and do an event almost anywhere. So we kind of once we did a couple over there, we kind of put it out there. It's like, hey, you want us to come help out with your events? We can bring games and monitors and stuff, and we can even stream it if you got internet, And that was pretty cool, being able to help out folks, kind of step their stuff up, going from just some guys playing in a room to some guys playing in a room on the internet.
I think didn't you guys do like a few Florida terms like Pensacola or something like that? I want to say.
Yeah. Always helped out with a bunch of the ones down there. I don't think we ever held one of our own events down there, but for a while I was teaming up with a guy down in Navarre, and I would help him do his stuff in the Florida Panhandle, from Fort Walton to Pensacola.
Since you guys had started the FAC, excuse me, is that right? Mobile
NBAFC, yeah, Mobile
NBAFC. There we go. I don't know how I messed that up.
Yeah, that was that name was never supposed to stick. We came up with it driving back from Final Round. We were just kind of spitballing ideas, and we were like, yeah, we can bring our consoles, and we can just find a room somewhere. We can get folks to play. We're like, yeah, it's got to have some like big dumb name. I don't know, something like Mobile Bay Area Fight Club. And then, over the weeks of setting it up, the name just kind of stuck.
It was like never like, we're good. It's been around this long.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sucks
it's
to have
better.
to give somebody your email address is like, okay, here we go. Mobile Bay Area Fight Club at gmail.com, and they almost always misspell it.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. So
But anyway, I guess the question I had is, how do you feel about the progress that you guys have made with that group so far, and what would you say is your biggest accomplishment within that?
I mean, I think so we never really had any dreams of doing anything outside of here. We just kind of want to always kind of stay in the area.
Yeah.
Kind of the Gulf Coast. And I think in that regard, we've done pretty much everything we wanted to do with it, especially when we started going into Mississippi and Florida with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was really nice to be able to start helping other folks out and everything. But we were never supposed to really do it after the first couple of years. So again, we were, let's see, that was 2012. So we were like 33 at the
Was
time.
it just like you guys were just, it was like a temporary thing, and then maybe you thought somebody else was going to start doing
exactly.
it?
The idea was we were going to amass all this stuff and then wait for some young kid to look around and go, well, I mean, I can do it. I can do more than this. And we were going to give him all the crap and be out.
How's that been working out so far?
Well, yeah, 8 years go by and we're still here. But yeah, we were really only wanting to kind of, light the fire under somebody else that had more time to do it, because we really didn't have the time to do it. We had the money, but not the time. We figure we'll find somebody else younger, wants to do it. We were willing to give them everything we had bought at the time, and we kind of support them with money and stuff like that, because at the time, again, we had good paying jobs, and we would get the scene going, and then we'd sit back and watch. But yeah, it's just, it never quite worked out that way. I mean, leading up to this year is probably the biggest year we're ever going to have, and is also our last year of doing it, running events, I should say.
Oh,
wow. Now we're not completely leaving. We'll still be going to events and stuff like that. It just kind of like, my brother, he's still part of it, but he's got four kids, and just so much responsibility going on. I'm running 2 different businesses myself. It's hard to kind of keep up with it. So
oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we had announced late last year that this was going to be the last year that we organize events. That doesn't mean that we're just going to be done with the FGC as a whole. Just after this year, we won't be doing anything here anymore. So we're trying to get some of the young folks down here to kind of pick it up where we left it off. But
who would be a good candidate for that, but I don't know if they have any interest in it whatsoever.
Oh no.
You know who I'm gonna say.
Please don't say it.
Sam.
Oh God.
Oh
no.
boy.
Now I know he's gonna hear this, and the second he hears all this, he's gonna text me or message me or something. But no, he's actually been a lot of he's actually been a really good support for us over the years. He's almost always there. He helps us kind of push the stuff out, do the stuff that we don't know how to do, like our Discord and stuff, and advertising. We're really bad at advertising, but he'll always put the word out whenever we got something going on. Anytime I stream, he's usually the first guy in the chat and everything. So I really do appreciate his support. It's just, I don't know if I'm not gonna say it.
Well, if he, hey, I mean, I get it. That's a lot of responsibility and a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know if he's exactly the best person to put at the head of something. He could be part of it. I don't know if he's the best person to run it. Speak.
Yeah,
and I'm just saying this to kind of make him mad because I know he's going to hear it.
See, maybe that's going to be the fuel that makes him say, "All right, I got to get it together." You know, I got to show Nolan that I can't do it.
I mean, you know, because he's like literally the only person who still cares that I could still be good at fighting games these days. He's always like wanting me to jump on with him, and he'll show me like frame stuff, and I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm 40-something.
You're at that point where you're just kind of like, look, I just want to show up and play the game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, all you guys out there playing the game for hours at a time, I play it whenever I sit down at an event. Pretty much when I was like, if I get some time to warm up beforehand, that's all the practice I've gotten between now and the last time I played the game. I mean, I'm very much just I just go because it's fun now. I know my competing days are way behind me. I just do it because I enjoy it now.
I feel like I'm gonna get like that at some point where I'm just like I just can't keep up. I mean, I hadn't got there yet. I mean, I can still, I can still throw down, but I know at some point I'm not gonna be able to do it anymore. And it's like that's why I'm trying to like branch out more and like stream and try and do this and do other stuff because like I want to still be a part of the community when I can't compete anymore. So it's like I want to at least start like building roots and other things. Start spreading out a little bit. So I'm not just, I can't play the game anymore. So I guess I'm just gonna sit over here and watch everybody else. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I told you a few years ago. It's like one day you're going to wake up and you're going to try to do something that the day before you were able to do, and you just won't be able to do it anymore. And you're like, oh, that was just a fluke. Something's up. And then, you'll get old too one day.
Yeah, I'm getting up there.
Yeah. But yeah, so like accomplishment wise, the big thing that we've always been able to enjoy the most is being able to help other folks do stuff. Always enjoyed that the most. We got Pensacon coming up this weekend. Actually, matter of fact, as soon as I'm done with this, got to break this whole computer down and get it packed up. We're leaving for that tomorrow. Then of course we got the +2 on block thing going on this year too. So
is there tournaments going on at Pensacon? You guys are streaming?
Yes. So if we can get the stream up and running, which we should be able to, we're doing Tekken 7 on Friday, and then Grand Blue, Dragon Ball, and Street Fighter on Saturday, and Sam Show on Sunday.
Cool. Yeah, you guys got a full weekend ahead of you.
Yeah, it's gonna be should be fun.
Okay. So I think the other question I had is what do you see for the future? Well, I guess you already answered that, for the future of Mobile Bay Area Fight Club. And I guess what do you see in the future, or what do you see in the future for the Alabama FGC? Do you I mean, I see, we've got NCA, you've met Jeff before and talked to Jeff, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got those guys up there trying to do stuff. I mean, what do you see in the future for the Alabama scene? You think it's going to grow, or
I mean, I hope it keeps going. The NCA guys are doing a really good job of getting out there, really trying to bring folks together. Because I know it's been hard. We kind of tried, but we can never really get anybody to come down here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I am gonna be down in the Venture Guys, the event for the +2, I guess the Southeast collaboration, the one that you guys have in May. I'll be down there for. So
that's cool.
Yeah. I'm making out for that.
Yeah, I really hope a lot of folks will come down and kind of see what we got now, because we really got a really great place to do this stuff at now. I don't know if you've seen our streams over the last year or so, but the
Engage, right?
Yeah, Engage Gaming is where we do all of our stuff now. And it's like a big old area of just games. It's like 20 PCs, 10 of each console. They do Smash there. They do all kinds of stuff. And really, ever since they opened, I kind of went in there kind of to check them out, and we quickly became friends. And everything we do is is basically there now, and it really is a great place. So yeah, I can't wait for folks to finally come down and kind of see it. But yeah, with them being around too, that kind of gave us the kind of like, we were like, you know what, I think this is the spot where we're at now is the best spot we've been in the 8 years we've been doing this. And I think it'd be the easiest now to hand it off to someone else. They don't have to be concerned about where they're going to do stuff. Like I said, we'll still be here to support and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything is kind of this is the easiest it's been for a while.
Yeah, you guys have kind of already set up the roadmap for everything, and it's like, you know, all it takes now is just somebody dependable first, but somebody dependable, and somebody who just has the want and the drive to, like, you know, take it and try and, you know, do the best that they can with it, you know.
Indeed, yeah, somebody willing to spend all that money too.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the other part too, right?
Yeah. So.
All right, cool. So I guess regarding the +2 on Block Southeast collaboration, how'd you guys get involved with that?
What was it? Last October or so, we were we got somebody emailed us at our Facebook page, and she was like, "Hey, is there any FGC events going on down here this weekend?" And we were like, me and my brother were out of town at the time. We were like, well, yeah, we do these weekly things at this place called Engage. If you want to come check that out. And she was like, okay, we'll see you there. I get there the Sunday, and this guy and this girl walk in, and they're paying for stuff, and this guy has like all this stuff on him, like bags and like a camcorder and everything. So we're talking to him. I don't realize that that's who I talked to on Facebook yet, and we go back there, and me and the girl start to talk, and we're just talking, and she's asking about, like, you know, how we got started and what do I play, and, you know, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, the guy's walking around with his little camcorder and recording stuff, and he's kind of checking out everything, and I'm kind of looking at them like, what in the world is going on here? He comes, kind of gives her the nod, and they finally introduce themselves, and it was Nan and Marcos from Data FGC.
Yep. Yeah, I know those two. Yeah, they're cool people.
They were they are incredibly cool. They say they were driving back home, and they were coming through town, and decided to see if there was anything down here on their way home. And so they were only supposed to stay like a couple of hours. We ended up talking for like 4 hours, just about gaming as a whole and what we think about, you know, doing events and this, that, and the other. And they were like, well, hey, have you ever thought about trying to do something with your whole state? And I was like, that's actually been a dream of mine for a while. There was a time back in 2010 or 2011, I want to say. No, never mind. 2013, 14, something like that. When I was talking to somebody else about trying to do exactly that, but it never quite worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of told us the idea that they had, and it was like, and they were like, I think we could actually do it here if you're interested. And I was like, I'm in. And kind of went from there. We met with them again in December. They came back down here in December, and the guys from NCA came down as well, and we kind of had the planning meeting at that point, and kind of got everything set up now. They're doing their first event in Florida. Locua, Florida is pronounced. I found out. Not
I was mispronouncing that the entire time.
So was I. I was when Grand Blue came out, I was down in Pensacola, and I told somebody that, and they looked at me a little weird. It's like, you mean Alacqua? It's like, sure. I had no idea.
I would have never guessed that's how you say it.
Me either. Me either. But yeah, that one's going on. Was it March?
March 7th.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be the first stop, and then the rest of it. Let's see. In April, I think where they're going to be in one of the Carolinas, I think, and then in May they'll be here.
Yep. And then I think June 6th is Knoxville, Tennessee. They've got an event, and then I guess everything ends in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yep. 21st and 22nd.
Yep. 2-day event in August. So I'm definitely planning to be that one. I'm going to try to go to as many of them as I can. Unfortunately, I can't go to the Florida one. I'll be doing something else that weekend. God, I guess that's just next weekend. And yeah, it's next Saturday.
Yeah. I was planning on going, and then I found out my kid's t-ball game was that day, so I can't go. But
kid sports get you every time.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be at I'll for sure be at the one in May. So,
what are kids sports?
Huh?
Nothing.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's all the questions I had, man. Tim, is there anything you wanted to ask Nolan while you got him around?
Yeah, man. Are we getting Red September this year?
I don't.
It's not really a him question, right? That's like because Narada runs that, right? Narada.
Well, actually, he quietly retired last year.
Wow, he retired. He didn't even tell me. Yeah, I know Narada's not going to listen to this, but
he didn't tell anybody.
I'm definitely going to have some words for him when I do see him.
I was in Meridian doing an event up there, and Sean, the other guy that helps out with that, was there, and I was kind of asking him. It's like, hey, it's May. I usually hear about Red September by now, and Sean was like, well. We're not gonna have one this year. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, Rod kind of quietly retired, and I don't know if I can just do it with just me. So I kind of took him to the corner and was like, hey, look, if you want to do it, I can help you, because there was a time where we couldn't get anybody from the state, not less our own city, to come to our events, and it was always them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, if you need money, set up streams or anything, just let me know. If you want to do Red September, I'm here. So that's the only reason we had a Red September last year, is because I offered to help Sean do it. And then in the midst of it, Sean himself announced that he was gonna retire.
Oh man.
So this last Red September, unless somebody else steps up, or unless I do it myself, it's looking like it's probably not going to be a Red September. It's also making me mad. These guys are like 10 years below me, and they're retiring. What the hell?
We should have went last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could have went to that wing spot again.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that place is great. I always forget the name of it, but every year I end up getting somebody will go there, and I'll take one of their wings, and it's just like, oh, this place is so good,
bro. Like we had oh my god, the garlic pepper wings.
Yeah.
Whew.
They had some kind of Parmesan garlic something. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Every year, and I always forget the name of the place too. It kills me.
That sucks that they both of them retired, and it was like, and I mean that's kind of like my biggest fear of like some of these scenes is like I feel like people are going to get older, and then there's not really a support for like somebody else to take the next spot, right? It's like
right.
Like in their situation, there was nobody really kind of hanging around them that really had that type of interest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
once they quit, it's like, well, who else is going to do it now? And then everybody, I mean, not that there was like a huge scene out there, because I felt like it did get a little bit smaller as time went on.
Yeah, it did.
But
but it was still it was still enough.
Oh yeah. I mean, they still had people that were playing, but
and
that's
kind of what I'm trying to not do here. I don't want to just like once I stop, then it's just over.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I feel like the main reason we decided to kind of slow it down this year was because we felt like it's just on autopilot at this point, and we can just hand it off to somebody else, and they can just cruise along with it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have basically set up a really good foundation for anybody to work with at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, as far as Red September goes, we'll see. I'll see if I can talk somebody into because obviously I'm not in that state, so I'll need somebody to find a place to do it and set stuff like that up and everything. But everything else, I'm willing to help out anybody in Mississippi that wants to do it. Let it be known that I'm more than willing to help that out because I want it to still keep going on too.
Well, I'll go ahead and say this, and this is on record since I said it on the podcast. But if it does happen, I will promise. I will make it out.
Look at that, man.
You will definitely have me there. So
Mississippi folks, you already have a pro who said he will be there. This guy had Capcom points. Let's go.
Must be nice.
So yeah, I mean, I always like. I mean, in general, like the Mississippi events have always been cool. You guys have always treated me well every time I've been down to your events. So I mean, I'm definitely down to come out again. So
cool.
Anything else, Tim?
No, I mean that's it.
All right, cool. If you got anything else, Nolan, you got anything you want to shout out? Any events coming up? Your social media, Twitch channel, YouTube, whatever. This is your time to plug it.
Yeah, like I said, we got Pensacon going on this weekend. It's a big pop culture event down in this area. They're expecting between 30 and 40,000 folks this year. We got that going on this weekend. We got our own anime only event going on in April, Anime April. That's going to be April 11th at Engage. Let's see. And then May 9th, obviously we have the plus 2 on block event. And then in June we have the Showdown, our big event in June. I want to say it's the second Saturday in June, or maybe the first. I can't remember the exact date for that one right now. We hadn't exactly got it locked down, but that's pretty much event-wise what we got going on. And we always do weeklies as well at Engage every Sunday, except this coming Sunday because we'll all be down at Pensacon. That's what we got going on here. Anybody wants to know anything else about us, the best way to find all of our info is on our Facebook page. So it's like facebook.com/Mobile Bay Area Fight Club. Twitter at MBA Fight Club, although I'm trying to do Twitter more, but it's probably not the best way to try to get in contact with us though. Let's see, you can see archives from just about every event we've ever done. Should be going back to at least 2013 or 14 or so on our YouTube page. It's the MBA Fight Club. Twitch channel at twitch.tv/MBAFC. You can email us at mobilebayareafightclub@gmail.com if you have any questions or want to contact us about possibly doing an event or any other way we can help you out with it. Just be careful with the spelling there. And I swear, I wish we'd have came up with the MBAFC thing beforehand because it's been so much easier as an email. But either way,
yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, thanks for having me on.
Cool. Tim, you want to go ahead and drop your socials?
Yeah. You can follow me at 4HTim on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitch at twitch.tv/4H_Tim. And if you hit me up on Facebook, Timothy Lamar Sharp Jr. So yeah, where can I hit you up, right?
Man, I'm everywhere. You guys can hit me up on Twitter at Boombox Heroes, where I'm mostly at. You guys can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Magnegro with a 0 instead of O at the end. You can also find me on YouTube at I think it's youtube.com/c/Magnegro, or you can just search Magnegro and you'll find the show that way. And that's it. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, obviously you know where to find that. But look, we're on Twitch, not Twitch, excuse me. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, pretty much everywhere now. So if you guys could drop a review on Apple Podcasts, or that also helps us get a little bit more exposure. So if you listen to this and you like it, man, go ahead and drop a review. Just say a few kind words and drop a few stars, and look, it'll be greatly appreciated. But I don't have anything else. I think next week we'll probably talk about the Intel stuff, since at that point registration will be open for the open qualifiers. So we'll have a little bit more, or hopefully, let me not jinx myself there. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more information as far as what's going on with that, and we can talk about how stupid the rules are so far. But
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it, man. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody's time. If you guys have any suggestions, you can reply back in the YouTube video with your feedback. You can hit me or Tim up regarding that, or you can also email us at halfcirclebackpodcast@gmail.com. I check that inbox pretty regularly, so anything you guys want to throw in there, man,
just go ahead and slide in my DMs. Please.
Nobody's doing that.
Just slide in my DMs.
They're definitely not doing that.
Just slide in my DMs.
That sounds kind of dirty the way you're saying it.
Slide in my DMs.
Yep. And on that note, we are calling it a wrap, man. Once again, Nolan, really appreciate your time, man. Thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me on.
And yep, you guys have a good one. And we're out. Peace.
Peace out.